On air, figure it out. We good. Yeah.
Live from Silverstein Memorial Stadium here on the campus of Rosman High School over in Transylvania County. Gary Ayers along with Tommy Dills. We're getting ready to get some Maroon Devil football on the Maroon Devils Network rocking and rolling. But right now we're going to break 2 minutes down the line. Then we'll come back and bring you all the action. Stay with us. We'll be back in 2 minutes here on the Maroon Devils Network. We're good.
I think so.
Yeah. Fans, welcome back here on the Maroon Devils Network on a beautiful Friday night here at Silverstein Memorial Stadium over in Rosman as the Rosman Tigers get ready to take the field. Our Maroon Devils are going to be taking the field here in just a minute as well. And we're getting ready to kick off here in just a few minutes. And we hope it's going to be a good one, as normally it is. As Tommy Dills can remember from back in the day, this is one of those nights, Tommy, when the field is dry, because we've been over here many years in the past when we've seen everything from a little bit of rain to a mud hole.
Absolutely a mud hole. I remember in '85 coming over here and seeing the mud splash all over the place in the playoffs. It was a big game, and that was unbelievable. I was all the way over the top of those kids, and you couldn't tell who was mud. It looked like mud monsters out there playing. It was awesome.
And as from a broadcasting standpoint, as Toby Burrell knows, when you're playing in that kind of mud, sometimes it gets to the point where you can't tell who's wearing what number and what number. You can't see the numbers at all, basically, is what I'm trying to say, because it gets real muddy and real nasty quick. But tonight the field is in great shape. We finally got football weather. We don't have 80 degrees at kickoff like we've seen the rest of the year.
Maybe those cramps will take a rest on us. Don't see anybody with their legs up in the air out there getting stretched out tonight. The weather's a little more conducive for football.
Hey, no doubt about it. So far, so good. Fans, stay tuned. We're going to take another 2-minute break, and then we'll come right back. We're working on some technical things, so stick with us. We'll be back in 2 minutes, so keep it right here as we're broadcasting on WBHN and, of course, live here on the Maroon Devils Network. We'll be right back. Fans, welcome back as, again, we're looking at a beautiful Rosman High School football field here. Nice crown, got the big tiger paw out there in the middle. And no, we're not at Clemson, but there is some similarity as we see a lot of orange out there. Gary Ayers along with Tommy Dills, and that might be the big question tonight as to why, now for all you students, it's not Tommy, it's Mr. Dills. I want to make sure that they understand that. But obviously, our old compadre, Coach Rod White, not being able to be with us tonight. Our thoughts and prayers are with Rod and Linda and the entire family as Rod's father, Don, has had a severe hip injury. As a matter of fact, it happened 1 week ago tonight in Bryson City. And he had some surgery, I understand, on Sunday. But things have not gone well, and there may be a second surgery needed from what we can understand. I saw Linda a couple of nights ago, and I know things are not going as well as they had hoped, Tommy, and I know Toby and yourself and I as well. We're looking at really keeping Don in our thoughts and prayers as he's had a really tough week.
Absolutely, and he's a good man. I've known him my whole life, and it's bad whenever anything like this comes down, and I'm glad to be here to help, but at the same time, I'm perfectly content to be Plan D. This is not anything I knew was coming.
Now, Plan D it means you get to call on the defensive signals. So.
Well, I know them. They haven't changed. I know those, but that's about the extent of what I'm able to add. I'm afraid I may be like on dodgeball, sitting over here, be like, "It's a bold strategy, Cotton." So we're going to have fun with this. It's going to be all right.
No question about it. We appreciate Emma Dingle running the camera and getting us on the air here tonight, and we appreciate all the folks. I believe Andy might be back at the studio at WBHN. Andy is crackerjack when it comes to getting things done, back at 94.1 FM and 1590 AM. We understand Joe Holt, of course, is in the Big Apple tonight, up in New York City of all places, Tommy. So, wow. That leaves you and me here to look at the Big Orange Rosman Tigers as we get ready to take on them in conference play.
I'm just questioning if they've thought this through before they turn loose on this. We're going to do what we can. This is going to be a lot of fun. Looks like that didn't notice who won the toss, Gary, but it looks like we're getting ready to kick this thing off. And we're going to see what happens.
Rosman's going to receive the opening kickoff. Our Maroon Devils will kick it off here. And just to be honest, and again, I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything, but I know it's been a tough season for the Rosman Tigers. They're coming in with 1 win against 6 losses. Our Maroon Devils on the flip side of that, 6-0. Our best start since back in 2012. So obviously 2 teams going in different directions. But as a coach yourself, you know things can happen on any given night.
That's right. You ain't got to beat them every night. You got to beat them one night. And we've had several that we lost a few like that, and we've won a few more, and that's just the way it is. And so you got to play them when they line up in front of you. And right now the Tigers are what's in front of us, and we got to make sure that we don't look past them or any other opponent and do what we need to do to win on a week-in, week-out basis, do what we got to do.
And here getting ready to kick off is going to be Aiden Pond. And I tell you, Aiden has really been kicking the ball well. Last week, I think he kicked it better than we've seen all season. This one's going to be high. It's going to be not too deep, taken at the 14-yard line. And the Tigers on the return, back out across the 25, across the 30. A very good return as they'll take over now 1st and 10 against our Maroon Devil defense. Good tackle down there by Connor Hyatt and company down there on the stop.
31-yard line. We'll see what the Devils have got right here. It's going to be interesting. Our defense has been pretty stifling all year. We've played good defense, and I look forward to watching them continue that tonight.
I think so, Tommy, and I think the key to our success this year has been outstanding line play on the offensive line and the defensive line as well, as the Rosman Tigers run right in to a bunch of guys led by one of the bigger guys on our team, Nick Millsap's in there, along with Colby Kirkland, and I tell you, both those guys are huge individuals.
They're right good size. That one is now at 2nd and 10. So if you're calling the game right now defensively, you're like, well, that was a good one. So here we got them in 2nd and 10. That's what we want.
That's it. They tried to run right up the gut, and not many teams have been able to run between the tackles against this Maroon Devil up front. And right now we've got 8 guys in the box. They're going to toss it, run to the right side. And again, not much success over there. They actually lost a yard, and they're going to be pushed back. And when we've seen it all season long. We had good pursuit over there as we had Lucas Brown, the corner, came up. Good pursuit over there from Jake Langston, who leads our team in tackles. And Tommy, you've watched watched these guys all year as Toby Burrell and I and Coach White. They get after you.
Yeah, they fly around. I like to watch our linebackers play. Our defensive line's good. Our linebackers running around. We're setting the edge well. I mean, all in all, we're playing pretty good defense. We've had some pleasant surprises out of some people we weren't asking to do anything that. Oh, that should be picked.
Here they go. They threw it up, and Connor Hyatt got a hand on it. They tried to hit their wide receiver over here, Tyler Stamey, and that one was up for grabs, almost like a jump ball in basketball, but it's going to be incomplete, but we're going to get the ball back here on 4th down and 10.
4th and 10. That's what I mean. If keeping people behind the sticks, that's what it's all about. If you want to be 3 and outs, I mean. You looked at 1st down and they gained a foot, and 2nd down they lost 2 feet, and 3rd down you're throwing. And if that's not the way anybody draws it up. So now let's see what we can do with it on this. But they don't have anything to lose.
Hey, that's right. The Rosman Tigers coming in, just trying to do the best they can to salvage their season. And coming on is going to be Tyler Stamey, one of their wide receivers, to punt it away. Gets off a nice punt. Yeah, knuckleball punt, and those are the hardest kind to field. Rosman gets on it down there as Bryce Sane does a good thing and stays away from that knuckleball.
Absolutely. We, as a special teams coach there for a long time, those are tough because it dies all of a sudden, and folks have a hard time finding it because it's low and you don't know where it's at, and you got to communicate and get out of the way of it because the worst thing that happened to us right there is a bad bounce and wire one and lose the ball. But we're up and we got it, and here we are on offense.
Now the Rosman Tigers come out, so it looks like right now with a 5-man front. You got 3 linebackers right behind them, kind of a 5-3-3 look right now defensively as our Maroon Devils are in the split back veer, and we hand off on a little counter on the right side and carry out across the 35 to the 38-yard line. And one thing I've noticed, Tommy, some of their numbers down on the field are in pink. Of course, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I don't know if you saw the picture. I think Rod White was very proud of that pink T-shirt he had on last week in the press box as the press box staff had on pink.
Yeah. It's just that time of year. I mean, it used to be whenever I was coaching, we had a couple of kids, they'd show up, and it'd be like, yeah, Coach, I'm going to put on my breast cancer awareness cleats. And somebody'd show up with a pair of pink cleats on. It'd drive me bananas.
Bryce Sane down the sideline all the way to the Rosman 32-yard line. He was tiptoeing that sideline, and if he had just had another couple of pounds balance here, Tommy, the other way, I think he could have scored. But 30-yard pickup, Bryce Sane down the sideline on the toss.
2 carries, average of 15 yards. You can live with that.
That's not a bad average. As now our Maroon Devils are going to split 1 wide to the left, 1 wide to the right side here. We've only played a couple of minutes. And, again, Rosman right now, again, with 5 guys up front at the line of scrimmage. Bryce Sane, handoff left side. Nice hole as he carries out to the 30-yard line. This time, gain of a couple of yards. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 8. So Rosman, good pursuit that time.
Yep. Doing some things different. We lined up in the gun that time and did a sweep look out of the gun and just did a handoff right there and gave it to him across the field. And it was, it's just one of those things we're working on, giving us some different looks and seeing what we can get going for us going down the line.
Coming out wide right this time is going to be Connor Hyatt. Got a man in motion. Could be a jet sweep, and there it comes. Handing off to the right side. Connor out there sitting the edge with a block, and it may be coming back as the penalty flag is thrown, but a good sweep over here. Again, good working over there from Gage Jones, but a holding call is going to bring it back, I'm afraid.
He's either going to call holding or a block in the back, and I hope it's holding. I didn't see his other hand because I don't know if it was a block in the back or not. I don't know. I want them all. I'm kind of a homer, and I'm unapologetic.
Hey, that's it. That's what we do. We bleed maroon and white. And the penalty is going to be marked off back 10 yards, back to the 35-yard line, which is going to bring up a 2nd down at about 13 or so here now as they're going to spot it. But, I was watching Connor Hyatt. He had a good block. They couldn't have called it on him. I thought he had a solid block setting that edge. But they got a hold in there somewhere.
They sure did. They found one. And you know what? Now it's 2nd and 13 or 14, and we'll just see what we can do. They moved it over there in the hash, gave us some room to run with. We'll see what we make of it.
There we go.
So we created some adversity for ourselves with the penalty, and let's see if we can dig out of the hole.
2nd down now and long, 8:52 to play here in quarter number 1. Same set, split backs right behind. Quarterback Lossy. He's going to run it around the right edge, and he's up the gut, and he's going to take it all the way to the house, Tommy. No problem for Lossy. Good play.
I love that. That little freeze option thing right there, for years, we've not had a whole lot of counter game. We've just lined up and said we're going right there and dare you to get us. they opened up, and the quarterback IR's out, and so the linebackers take off flying, and next thing you know, it sets up our blocks, and we score touchdowns. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Oh, no doubt about it. Damian Lossy, once he got outside that right side tackle, he saw a gap. He didn't worry about the pitch man, and he took it all the way to the house. Now coming on is going to be Connor Hyatt to hold, and for the PAT, it's going to be Mr. Gavin Lanning. He kicks it up, got plenty of leg under this one, and it's going to be good with 8:38 to play. We get our first score on the board, and we'll be back in just 1 minute. Stay with us right here on the Maroon Devils Network. Fans, welcome back as the Maroon Devils kick it back to the Tigers. And again, a pretty good return here, Tommy. We've seen two good returns to open things up for the Tigers as far as their kickoff return game goes with 8:38 to go. But the important stat right now, 7-0 on the scoreboard.
That's the one we like. 7-0 good guys. That's what we're looking for. Looks like we're getting ready to line up right here in the forefront. Forefront, our jumbo look, I believe. We'll see what happens.
So now first down and 10, Tigers with the I formation. They run to the right side, fullback blocking, but no hole there. And again, Nick Millsap's up there. Also up there is Chase Hughes. And we call these names week in and week out. Ian Brooks up there. And we talked about this before, Tommy. We don't just have solo tackles. We have 2 and 3 and 4 guys around the ball almost every play.
Yeah, if we're turning inside runs into daggone rugby scrums, that's what we're after.
That's
I mean, get everybody as many hats to the ball as we can. And we're doing a good job of that, especially these inside runs. And I'll tell you, watching these kids play over the years, three front, going wolf front right here, seeing these kids play over the years, that they've done so much better.
Yes, and Coach, I know Coach White loves this wolf front. Rosman back to throw, throwing it down the sideline, just off the fingertips of Connor Hyatt. They tried to get it out there, the same guy, Tyler Stamey. But again, good coverage over here by Connor Hyatt, and just a little too much air over there.
Yeah, a little bit. Number 15 was going out through there for a corner route also, and so now here we are. They're behind the sticks again, 3rd and 9. That's right where you want them if you're a defensive coach. I mean, it takes your playbook, and it cuts it way, way down.
It really does. Talking about number 15, he is the only freshman on this entire team. They only have 4 seniors, good junior class, 8 juniors, 10 sophomores, 1 freshman, only 23 kids total on their rosters. So, again, it's tough when you've got those numbers. 3rd down and 9 now.
Wolf
again,
front.
the wolf front again.
Yep. Kick out.
And here they come. I tell
boy.
you, maroon and white jerseys in the backfield.
Guys, they just right now we're enjoying a lot of success with absolutely no answer for our big uglies up front. I mean, when the offensive line is sitting in the quarterback's lap and he opens up, tries to give a handoff, good things going to happen for you.
No doubt. Good play there by Colby Kirkland and, again, Ian Brooks as they were in there in the backfield, literally, probably before the handoff took place. 4th down and 10 now. Again, they're in punt formation. Tyler Stamey back. Our Bryce Seen is back with 7:15 to play in the first quarter and a 7-0 lead under partly cloudy skies on a wonderful October night that finally feels like October. And Bryce is going to take this one back.
Get out.
Line drive. He takes it on the drive. He breaks a tackle or two, but is finally knocked out of bounds way over there in front of the Maroon Devil bench at about the 38-yard line.
All right, that'll set us up. I like it when we're handling punts, too, because if that hits the ground, you never know where a ball that shape is going to end up. It makes a difference between a 30-yard drive or a 70-yard drive and an 80 or 85-yard drive. And it's much harder to score from 80 than it is from 65 or 70 yards. And people don't believe it, but it's true.
Oh, it really is. And it seems like when you let a punt go, you're talking between 10 and 15 yards on that bounce every time.
Lord have mercy.
Damian Lossie under center. Split backs again on 1st down and 10. Just a quick handoff over the left side. And a good running again between the tackles this time.
33.
As again, that's going to be Ian Brooks up there leading the charge.
Ian came off good right there, and I'll tell you, the old coach in me, I'm sitting over here, and I know you heard me go, whoo, right then. I looked up, and there's no free safety in the middle of the field, and we got a big split, and there's nothing but green grass in there. I'm like, good coach, it's right there. Let's do it. The stuff I couldn't get by with as a secondary coach, and so we didn't do it. Yeah.
But I'd say we're going to see that again.
Right now, in fact.
Here we go. Split backs again, this time flipping to the right side. Jake Langston, the tight end. And we run to the left side this time, and there's another big gap. Here's Bryce Swain. He pops it outside. He's down the left sideline. It's a foot race, and he's going to win it.
It's going to be called back, Coach. We got a yellow flag out there on the field, and I don't know what they saw, but I didn't see nothing but a lot of people getting wallered. But hey, we'll see what they get worked out right here.
Oh, no question about that. 6:09 to play, and that is going to come back, as it is going to be. Looks like a block in the back. Yep, block in the back, and I'm sitting here between two coaches, Tommy Dills and Toby Burrell, and Toby Burrell said, "Yep, I think we got a block in the back," and he was right.
Well, it's one of those things too. Sometimes you get penalties where kids are just playing hard, and if they're playing hard and they end up getting tangled up and something crazy happens, they end up blocking somebody back just because they're playing hard. You got to live with those.
Right.
And our kids are playing hard, and they're trying to do well, and that's two great big plays that have been called back for us, and that's unfortunate, but it doesn't bode well, if we're waiting on penalties to get things called back. I think if we just keep pounding right here, we'll be all right.
That's it. And I've heard coaches say this time and time again. I know Coach White is a big advocate of this. You've got to play aggressive. If your aggressive penalties get called, so be it. It's the mental penalties that you don't want to happen to you. Right now, got a 2nd down coming up. 2nd down, back to throw. Damian Lossie down the sideline. Timing pattern just a little too far out there. Boy, I tell you what, that was close as Connor Hyatt was running as fast as he could. And he had a couple of steps, but just too much on that one.
That's the crazy thing about, people don't think about, football's a game of inches. You hear that all the time. That one is 8 inches, 10 inches back. He catches that in stride, and we're right now waiting on the extra point to line up.
It's that close.
That's that close.
Good pass. Outstanding route over there by Connor as he got behind his man. This time wide to the right side is going to be Gage Jones. Maroon Devils again, split backs. We've used pretty much the same set so far here tonight. And here we come right up the gut. And again, a good run for Ian Brooks for a 1st down right at the 50-yard line before he's knocked down over there by their freshman, Carson Leidy. And he's a pretty good freshman.
Yeah, he's flying around over there trying to make plays just like you want him to.
And, when you have a freshman that's playing up against varsity, it's tough.
There's always a gap. You're talking about one, over the years we looked around, and the years that we're the best is when the parking lot is full of cars at the field house after practice.
That's right.
When you look out there and you got a bunch of sophomores and they're waiting on their mamas and daddies to pick them up after practice, it doesn't bode as well.
No.
It just don't.
You're exactly right. And there's a lot of difference in a sophomore and a senior. This time out of the shotgun, Damian pitches to the right side, and Bryce Swain breaking a tackle out there. Another 1st down at the 42-yard line, just a yard short. But again, I tell you, the way Bryce spins and turns and breaks tackles is fun to watch.
It is fun to watch. I've been watching him his whole life. His mom is my wife's first cousin. So I've been watching him since he looked like a little Martian out there. There's a little Martian helmet out there running around. He's pitch it to Bryce and see if anybody can catch him before he gets around the edge. And most of the time they couldn't. He's been doing this a long time.
He has. And, he's not the biggest guy on the field. He's 5'7", 170 pounds, but he is very strong. He has outstanding footwork, and his desire is phenomenal.
Yeah, he works hard. He's a hard-working kid. He works hard in the weight room. He works hard at everything that he's doing, and you couldn't ask. Whoa, what?
Looks like we're going to be backing up again here, Coach, as that penalty flag is going to bite us again. And instead of 1 yard for a first down. We're going to back up all the way to the 40-yard line, and we're going to need 20 yards for a first down.
Yeah, was that would they call that targeting right there? Is that what that was? Okay, I didn't see it.
Man.
I don't know what.
I didn't either.
I didn't see the penalty.
I didn't see that at all. But first down and 20 now. We're at our 40. We've got to go to their 40 for a first down. And again, they're lined up pretty much in a 5-3-3 kind of look. We toss it out to the left side. It's going to be, looks like Ian Brooks running this time. And he's running wild.
He may be. No.
One man to beat, and that final man got him down inside the 25-yard line. But, Tommy, what a great tackle down there. Touchdown-saving tackle by sophomore
right.
Andrew Stamey.
Yeah, that kid's running around back there having to make lots of plays. And you know, that bodes well for us moving forward. When free safety's your leading tackler on defense, you're in trouble.
That's it, because he's the last line of defense, literally, as now we're going to have it at the 22-yard line, 4:27 to play, and a huge run over there, and that one's going to be 38 yards for Ian Brooks. He just busted a tackle and almost busted it all the way.
Yep, so he almost housed it.
Split backs again, got split wide receivers, and we run right up the gut this time. Ian Brooks getting some work here tonight. Carries down to the 16. Another good run for the fullback.
Yeah, I remember a couple of years ago, though, whenever they're sophomores, these kids don't break some of those tackles. Now, the same thing we were talking about, a few minutes ago. When Ian was a sophomore, he wasn't as strong as he is today. And some of those tackles where we're getting 3 extra yards, we don't get those 3 extra yards. 9 feet's hard to come by in a tough game.
It really is. And I tell you, that's the difference a lot of times, as you mentioned, in a sophomore and a senior. Got another young man in the backfield right now, and he's going to get the toss out to the left side as we spin just short of the first down inside the 15-yard line as Carson Taylor joins Bryce in the backfield now to give Ian a break. But Taylor has come on and really played well. 26 carries, 209 yards, having a good season as well in his limited playing time.
Absolutely. And, that's a heck of a good back to have back there as a reserve.
He
hits the veer lanes very slick. I mean, he's a good football player and has been a productive football player for us for a couple of years.
He's very strong.
Yes.
Here we go. Damian under center this time. Turns and hands off, and running to the right side this time is going to be Mr. Taylor, and he is getting down near the 6-yard line. It's going to be a first down. And again, good run by Carson Taylor. He's 5'11", 195, only a sophomore, but a good running back.
Absolutely. Carson's a good one. I guess I was bragging on his brother there a little bit there a minute ago whenever I said he was the one that was – his brother's a senior. I got them mixed up in my head. I had them both in PE at East, and it all runs together when you've had about 900 of them run through there.
Carson, the sophomore, Colby, the senior, and they're almost the same size. Colby, 5'10", 190, and Carson, 5'11", 195. So, yeah, they're close, just a couple of years apart. First down now. Maroon Devils running to the right side. Here comes Bryce trying to turn the corner, and he does. He gets around and scores. Good run.
Yep, good run, touchdown. It's always a good run when we're putting her in the zone. We'll take it. Now let's get out there and make these extra points. I believe, and that to talk about that, young Lanning boy's doing a good job. He's got a good foot. He's doing something he's never done before. He's been asked to kick this year, and he's come out and he's done a pretty good job. He's getting better every week, more consistent, and that's what we want to see.
That's it, because we have some games coming up in the next couple of weeks that could be decided literally by your extra points. And this one is going to be up, and it's going to be good. So now 2:35 to play. First quarter, 14-0 Maroon Devils. Fans will be right back in 1 minute here on the Maroon Devils Network. Back live here at Silverstein Memorial Stadium on a beautiful Friday night. Gary Ayers along with Tommy Dills. And again, our thoughts and prayers going out to Coach Rod White and his family as they deal with some health issues with Coach White's dad. We hope he is going to be better real soon. I know it's been a tough week, as now we're going to kick it back to the Rosman Tigers, and it's going to be a line drive kick, and they're going to take it. Oh, they lost it, and they pick it up at the 15 out to the 20, 25, and still another good return. Oh, got a penalty flag this time. And coaches, you know, normally when that flag comes in, it's going to be on the return team.
Typically. We'll see what happens right here.
So they're looking down the line, and it is going to be a holding call on the return team, which is, like I say, probably 80 to 90% of those on special teams.
Or a block in the back. Yeah. Or a block in the back.
Yeah.
That's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, guys. You know, right now we're having some success, but I'll tell you one thing: you can never question about Rosman's kids. They're going to play hard.
Yes.
And they have got a lot of heart. And I'm telling you that you think about it. They've not had a lot of success so far this year, but this may be one of those dues-paying years, and it may be one of those times when these kids are having to learn through some adversity. And my hat's off to them, coming out here and playing hard. And there's no question when you play a Rosman team, they're going to play hard.
That's it. You better bring your A game, because they're going to bring their A game. And again, they're just kind of down in numbers. Again, a very small senior class, only 4 seniors, and as you know. You need a good senior class to really kind of set the tone. This time they run to the left side, and again, this time a good open field tackle over there on that side. And again, that's our leading tackler of the season, Jake Langston, with another one.
Jake is a ball player, guys. I mean, it's easy to get lost in the shuffle out there whenever defense is your thing sometimes. But Jake is a big, strong kid that runs extremely well, and it's hard to get away from him. I wouldn't want to get in a foot. Well, I wouldn't want to get a foot race with anybody. But with a lot of these kids out here, he's a big, strong, fast kid, and he's a heck of a good football player.
He is 6'2", 215-pound senior, 49 tackles on the season. But again, we have some really good defense. Right now, we've got 5 guys up on the line of scrimmage. They want to throw. They throw right down the middle. It's going to be picked off. Right in the hands and back inside the 5-yard line. Good return over there is Cody Long, the linebacker, and he saw that one coming all the way.
Cody's a great kid. I had him in PE from elementary school, and I'll tell you that Cody didn't play for us last year. And he was a starter as a sophomore, didn't play last year at all. And we missed him. And he's back out here now, and he's flying around and making good football plays, and he's a great kid, and we're so glad he's back out there. And it makes a big difference when you get the right kids out here.
Oh, and he's one of those. Cody plays left guard on offense, linebacker on defense, and does both very well. And I tell you what, talking about this rivalry, our Maroon Devils 36-4-1 against Rosman, and currently riding a 21-game winning streak. But as you said, you got to come ready to play, because they are always ready to play. Here comes Bryce around the left side, cuts it back inside, finds a gap, and he just read that seam, Coach, all the way and takes it in for the touchdown.
Absolutely. It looked like a little tunnel right through there. That's just the way you draw it up. Nobody draws up plays that don't score touchdowns, and that's the way that one unfolded for us. We're just, sometimes the cards line up for you.
And again, it just comes down to geometry. You got to find the right angle and pop it in there and be quick about it. And he is so good about finding that seam and getting into the end zone. Now the PAT is going to be up, and I tell you, I believe we're 3 for 3.
We are 3 for 3, and he's striking the ball well, too.
Kicking it well. Right now, 1:20 to play here in quarter number 1. Fans, stay with us. We'll be back in 1 minute here on the Maroon Devils Network. All right. Welcome back as we kick it back to the Rosman Tigers, who have had good return results. This time bringing it back over there is going to be Brennan Chapman. And Chapman, again, breaking a tackle or two out across the 25. And, Coach, they've been up to the 30-yard line or more just about every return. So their return game is looking good.
Yeah, they're doing a good job setting them a wedge there in front and making us fight through it. They're setting up, they're holding the ground blocking, giving their athletes a chance to make a play and doing the best they can on their return, and they're getting the ball around 30 about every time. I think it's been 30, 31-yard line every return.
Yeah, and that's their quarterback, Brennan Chapman. And again, I'm not sure how many times you want your quarterback to return kicks, but hey, he's getting the job done. He is a senior, and he's also their leading tackler back there in the secondary for the Tigers. Toss into the backfield, and we have a lot of guys into the backfield. Leading the charge over there is Charlie Lambert. He came in from the side, and he really hit that kid.
Yes, he did. That kid's head has popped up just enough to get struck. Charlie didn't let him down. He went ahead and hit him, and that's Charlie flies around and plays hard.
He really did. Chase Hughes and Charlie Lambert over there, he came in from the side, and pow. He got it pretty good. And he never saw it coming.
No, he did.
And those hurt.
Yeah, he got hit a little bit. And it ain't a whole lot of fun whenever you get those. There's nothing you can do about it. You just got to see it coming. It's like being on a train track you can't get off.
That's it. Here we go. Right now, the Maroon Devils got that wolf front again.
Yep.
Kind of a delayed handoff, and again, into the backfield. The running back had no chance, and there's big Nick Millsap's. That could be the final play of the quarter here, Coach. But again, we're just not giving any ground between the tackles.
No, sir. There's nothing to be had right there. I mean, that's when your center is 3 yards deep. You know, I mean, it's rough, guys. I'm telling you, and our big boys are playing well.
They really are, and that is going to be the final play of the first quarter. We're going to go to quarter number 2 when we come back. Right now, it's the Maroon Devils up 21-0. A couple of scores to pass on. Andrews leading Cherokee 7-3. Murphy leading Hayesville 14-0. Tuscola leading Asheville. And again, those are the only other 2 conference games besides ours. And here's a big game over in the Mountain 6 Conference. Pisgah leading Smoky Mountain 6-0. That's what a lot of people consider their conference showdown. Fans, stay with us. We'll be back in 1 minute right here on the Maroon Devils Network. Fans, welcome back as we get the second quarter underway here from Rosman High School. Toss on the backfield, and he is actually hit, breaks a tackle, and gets back to the line of scrimmage here, Tommy. And but again, he did a good job just breaking that first initial hit and getting a couple of yards.
Yeah, and you know, we're flying.
Yeah,
you know, our kids are flying around. The first guy missed him, and in our corner, Lucas Brown came in there and got him to the ground. Lucas is built to be a great tackler. I mean, he's a wrestler. You look out there, and there's a lot of these kids that are out there playing, and I've coached wrestling a long time, and wrestlers are good tacklers.
They are.
They understand how to do it. They understand body positioning and
leverage.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, and angles.
It's all about leverage. Lucas Brown, 5'6", 140, but very strong, and they're going to have to punt it away on 4th down and 10. This is an end-over-end punt. This one's going to bounce out of bounds, though, over in front of the Maroon Devil bench in our territory, and we'd like to pass along, coming up in a couple of weeks at the Robbinsville Swain football game in 2 weeks, the athletic directors from both schools set the ticket price to $7, of which $1 will go to Swain and Graham County. There will also be collection boxes at the stadium, and this is in memory of our good friend Steve Claxton, who, of course, was living in Graham County, had a lot of friends over there. His old holder from college, D. Walsh, is the head coach at Robbinsville. So we hope a lot of folks will show up, and we hope both teams are undefeated. And we'll play for the conference championship in 2 weeks. We'll see.
I think it'd be awesome.
That'd be fantastic, and we hope you'll be there. And, hey, bring a couple extra bucks for the collection box. And looks like the Maroon Devils pick up about 7 or 8 there, Tommy, and a good run. No, check that. I'm looking at the wrong side of the stick. I like that 7 or 8 better, but, yeah, we'll call it 2nd and 6.
Yeah, we'll call it 6 or 7 yards. But you know what? It looked like he didn't get nothing. And that tells you something. We're 12 foot that way after the ball was snapped. So we're on the line of scrimmage still, and that's how you win football games.
Hey, that's it. Got to keep moving those sticks. Twins on the left side this time for Damian Lossy, as this time he turns and hands off, and here comes Bryce Swain again. Down inside the 45-yard line, just shy of the first down again. But again, good running, even though there was a lot of traffic in there.
Well, they've made an adjustment. They're closing that end down there tight, and before it was like you're going to get – they weren't closing that way. They weren't closing to take dive, and I think they've made an adjustment and said, we don't care what you do, you better take dive. And now they're going to come down and slam it down hard inside, and we'll see what happens.
And by the way, Bryce has already passed Blake Wright on our all-time rushing list, and he's sneaking up now on Heath Hyatt for 12th place on the all-time list. And this time we're going to run down inside the 40. That's going to be plenty of room for the first down, as our quarterback Damian Lossy, who has had a good season running the football, coach, as he's had 391 yards rushing as well.
Yeah, he's a heck of a good athlete. You know, I mean, he does another one of our wrestlers. You know, he wrestles. You know, he doesn't sit around all year. Plays wrestles, plays baseball. He does a great job in all those things. He's a leader for these kids and plays really hard.
Here we go. Damian under center, split backs behind him, penalty flag down, and the play is going to be blown dead. And we got some people moving up there. But talking about our rushing list, Bryce Swain has moved ahead of Spencer McCoy, and Spencer McCoy was a beast in the backfield. He is now past Blake Wright for 13th and is sneaking up on Heath Hyatt for 12th on the all-time rushing list. And he's only junior.
Yes, sir.
So
he's a junior. He did get to steal a year because he got to play as a freshman, but he didn't get a whole lot of carries as a freshman. On varsity, he was up with him. He got quite a bit of playing time, but you know, he's a pretty good football player. His balance is good. He's fast. He's a very quick kid. Good vision. He does things it's hard to coach.
He really does. He has some of those qualities that you mentioned that you really can't coach. He just has some of that natural ability. This time the fullback runs to the right side over there. Is that Ian, or is that going to be Mr. 32. Taylor? That's going to be Mr. Taylor this time, as Carson carries again. And again, our running game clicking well. Even though we probably lost about a yard, 2nd down and 11 coming up here.
We had the penalty, so it was a gain of 4.
Got 4.
It's 4, so now we're behind the sticks, but we'll see. You know, second and 11, it gets us an opportunity to back under center, and we're going to be in a shotgun this time. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, got a wing over here on the left side. That's going to be Taylor, and this time Bryce is in the backfield, and he's got company in the color of orange, and a penalty flag is down on the play, but Bryce had nowhere to go. Good penetration in there this time by the Rosman Tigers. As for the first time tonight, that's Derek Snyder in our backfield. And Tommy, as you know, when somebody's in your backfield, it makes life miserable.
It does make life miserable. And then sometimes you just got to know, you know, this is the ride. I'm going to get what I can get right here and see what happens. You know, I mean, give myself a chance at the next play. And now we're sitting, it's 3rd down and, 3rd and 20 nearly.
Oh, boy.
Because they declined the penalty. So it'll be 3rd down. And
roughly 20. Yeah, pretty close. Long way to go. 8:30 to play here in quarter number 2. Maroon Devils with a 21-0 lead. But again, we're looking at now 3rd down and roughly 18, 19, almost 20 yards to go on 3rd down. And we'll see if Damian's going to throw the football up. He's got a couple of guys in the backfield behind him. And let's see which way we go. Got twins on the right side. Got a single man, Bryce Swain, over here split wide on the left side. And Damian in the shotgun. Has plenty of time. Looking down the left side. He overthrows a wide open Connor Hyatt. I mean, he had 5 yards on his defender.
Yep. That's one of those, if we just catch that one and, you know, play a little pitch and catch. But you know what? That's frustrating for a quarterback. But here's the good news. He's standing in back there, and he's delivering the ball, and he's not falling away. He's doing a better job of throwing the football. It's a vast improvement from last year in terms of the way that he's throwing the football. You know, nobody caught that one.
That's
which
right.
is the win.
And Damian Lossy, 22 of 44 for 436 yards and 4 touchdowns. Last year, he finished the season with 469 passing yards with 5 touchdowns. So he's already ahead of last year's numbers. And we still have a lot of football left. Damian just booms a punt. And they're not going to return it. It takes a sideways hop. And the Maroon Devils down near the 15-yard line. So a good punt by Damian Lossy. But again, coming into this game tonight, Tommy, he had passing-wise 22 of 42, as we mentioned, 4 touchdowns, 436 yards. And he is, I think, in several ways, a better quarterback this year than last year.
Lots of ways. I mean, he's running his football team out there. It's his team. He's under center. Everybody, there's no. He's calling the game. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's making plays offensively, and a lot of people don't realize this, but he doesn't play defense for us. But when this group was coming through that are juniors, he was every bit. He's probably their best defensive player.
And now it looks like Rosman is going to throw the ball away to the sideline, but the penalty flag is coming out as the head referee was in the end zone, and that looks like an illegal grounding over there. Let's see what they're going to call.
Where was he at when he threw it?
He was way over here to the right side.
They're going to put him down there. It looks like about oh my.
Yeah, this is probably back inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah, about the 3 looks like.
Wow, way down there. That penalty really hurts, but, he just didn't have a lot of protection and threw it away, but apparently was outside that legal zone.
Yeah, there was nobody anywhere around, and he threw it about 6 lanes on the track.
Yeah. He just wanted to get rid of that football.
Absolutely.
And I don't blame him in that case.
No, absolutely not. It just, it's one of those things a kid does sometimes. Like, I'm going to play the next play. And
that's it. Brennan Chapman, their senior quarterback. And this time they come out running it. Talking about Brennan Chapman coming into the game here tonight, 12 of 46 passing, 192 yards. No touchdowns on the year throwing the football and 4 picks on the season. But let's see what they come out and run it for a couple of yards, trying to just kind of get out of the hole there, Coach.
Yeah, you're trying to get a little room to work. I mean, you're down there with your back against the goalpost. It's 3rd down and 23. This is one of those. I need to get a little room so I can get a good snap and punt the football.
There we go.
And see what can happen for me down the line.
They try to run it again. They don't get much. They were literally inside the 2-yard line, and now they're going to be punting from their own end zone. And golly, that's a dangerous punt when you're punting from your own end zone, and we've got a bunch of hungry guys on the line.
Absolutely. We've won a state championship this way.
Yes, we did. We did. I remember it well.
It was a little snap over somebody's head, and it makes a difference in the ball game. It can happen.
It did. And I think everybody in the stadium was shocked.
Oh, there was nobody happier than me.
Yeah.
I was standing over there with Nick Zimmerman, and I said, Nick, get over there and start kicking that net. He said, Coach, we don't even have the ball back yet. I said, no, but you're fixing to win us a state championship when you kick this through them sticks. And
here comes the punt from Rosman. Nice punt. Wow, this one's going to
look for the ball.
All the way out into Maroon Devil territory. An outstanding punt as they punted literally from their own end zone. So we're going to get at the 49 in very good field position, but still, that's a heck of a punt.
Yeah, that ain't bad. And for a high school kid to be able to give you a 48-yard change in field position, you can't ask for a whole lot more than that.
Outstanding punt by Brennan Chapman, their quarterback, and boy, I tell you, Chapman does a lot of stuff. Returns kicks, punts. Plays quarterback, and he's their leading tackler again, coming in with 60 tackles on the season.
And sweeps the place up when he gets there.
Yeah.
He's doing it all.
He's a man that wears a lot of hats. Here we come as we're going to run that wing on the left side now. Damian back in the shotgun. He's going to roll to the right side. Has the option. Keeps the football. Cuts back inside and carries for a first down inside the 42-yard line.
He wanted to pitch that right there. I was like, no, go, just don't pitch it.
He had the option, didn't he?
He did. He had to pitch, but there's somebody between him and it, and I was like, no.
So he did the right thing, hung on to the ball as we're halfway through the second quarter here. From Rosman High School, Smoky Mountain Conference play on a Friday night. As you know, next week it's no surprise. Murphy coming to town next Friday night. David Gentry, is he going to break the all-time coaching record in North Carolina? If he wins that game next Friday, he will. let's make sure he doesn't. So come on out and help us back the Maroon Devils next Friday at Swain County High School. Swain and Murphy, that's all we need to say. Damian Lossie right side into the secondary, down inside the 25. And again, another good call to keep that ball.
Absolutely. That's that little follow play. He loves it. He falls right in behind that dive back and goes. All the way through youth ball, he was a running back. We didn't convert him to a quarterback full-time until last year as a sophomore. And he's got a feel for that little play right there. And it's been good to him, and it's been good for us.
No doubt about it. And he just has that sense of when to keep it and when to pitch it. And that's really the key between a so-so quarterback and a good quarterback.
Especially for what we do. Basically, our quarterbacks over the years have been glorified running backs. I mean, it's just the way it is.
So here we go, this time under center. Damian turns, hands off, right side, big hole into the end zone. Is that going to be a touchdown? Yes, it is.
Sir.
The Maroon Devils just busted that one over the right side. And, Coach, again, a good running lane to run through over there for Ian Brooks.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ian's such a good kid, too. I mean, he just flies around. He plays with a lot of emotion.
He does.
I like watching him get. I like the way he gets after it. He's the type of kid I miss getting to coach. I like kids that are a little bit rough around the edges and want to fly around and hit people and do stuff.
And he does.
And he does. That's what he lives for. And I've really enjoyed watching him play.
And he is having a good senior season now as we get ready for the PAT. Coming in again is going to be Gavin Lanning, our sophomore kicker. And this one looks like it's right down the pipe. As with 5:03 to go here in quarter number 2, Maroon Devils are off and running with a 28-0 lead. Fans, we'll be back. More football coming up. We're going to be talking about some other games coming up for Swain County High School and other sports, and a lot more stuff we're going to be talking about here tonight. So keep it right here. We'll be back in 1 minute on the Maroon Devils Network. Fans, welcome back. Rosman again on the return. They've been a busy bunch here tonight returning kickoffs. And again, not a bad return again, Coach. We've talked about this tonight. That's been one of their positives. And but, boy, taking some shots is the quarterback, Brennan Chapman. He's their top return guy. And, wow, he plays hard, but he's getting beat around.
He's getting knocked around a little bit. And this time they got it at, about 28-yard line, I guess?
Yes.
Something like that, 27, 28-yard line. And, they've been right around the 30.
Every time.
Not bad field position, really. I mean,
you'll take down all night.
That's right. They've had a lot of chances.
Yes, they have. They have. And right now, the Maroon Devils lining up with Coach White's favorite front, that wolf front up there, 3 guys up front. And they try to run through that. This time they pop it outside. But, again, good coverage over there again by that linebacker over there, Cody Long, coming up with a good solo tackle.
Absolutely. Again, Cody's another one of our wrestlers. State qualifier this past year. I think maybe twice state qualifier. He's just he's a good athlete. He runs around, he flies around, and playing some ball. And the kid that took the dive, it opened up, and it looked just like for an instant, like, wow, he's got a hole. And then it just went away. And our kids are flying to the football.
Yeah. We plugged one hole. He popped it outside and actually picked up a yard where I thought he was going to lose yards when he tried that first gap.
I did too.
4:15 to play here in the second quarter. 28-0 Maroon Devils again. They're going to hand off to the right side and just right up that A gap between the guard and the center. But there's just not much running room when you got a guy as big as Nick Millsaps plugging that hole who's 6'7", 295.
Yeah, and he can stick an arm out and disrupt everything you're doing. I mean, it's tough. And the other thing is they're giving dives inside, and this is something I never, a lot of option teams want to give some splits between their offensive linemen to give you some more natural running lanes, and there's just not a lot of splits up there for those kids up there right now. And they're 2 feet apart, a foot apart, and it doesn't give you a lot of natural running lanes. You're not building off anything.
Here they come in the I formation. Quarterback back to throw, throws it out to the left side. Just couldn't connect over there. Again, good coverage for Connor Hyatt. He's been around that football tonight with 3.5 to play here in quarter number 2.
They'll fool around and leave one hung up, and he's itching to pick one.
Yeah, and he reads the ball well.
He does read the ball well. And a lot of that is because, Connor's a good quarterback.
He is.
He's a good quarterback that's playing wide receiver for us and playing defense now and doing a heck of a good job. But he understands reading a quarterback and his shoulders and what those things tell him with his eyes and his shoulders. And a lot of times we've had a good success with using free safeties that are quarterbacks. And that's the reason why.
They know how to read the other team's quarterback. Here comes the punt. Going to be high. Bryce saying fair catch. Oh, and he almost dropped it. No, he takes off, but he called a fair catch, I believe.
Yeah.
I thought his hand went up. And
it bounced off, and he's like, I'm going to get hit. I'm going to move. I'm going to give it a shot.
He took off, but, hey, the officials whistle him dead back at the 42-yard line.
Okay, so we picked the flag up, looks like. I'll take it. Anytime they're not having as much to do with it, I'm tickled.
Hey, that's it. That's it. We've had a couple of penalties here tonight, and, going to have another one. And we're going to back up some more. So we go from the 42. And now let's see where they're going to spot it. And they're going to spot it back at the 37, a 5-yard penalty. And that was I'm not even sure what that call was.
I don't know that signal. I know that's unfortunate. It's just one of them things. What it means now is that we get 5 yards lost in field position, but it's not a dead ball penalty, so it's not 1st and 15 or anything on change possession.
Here we go. 1st down and 10 at the 37-yard line. Maroon Devils, Damian Lossy. Bryce Swain around the right side. Here comes one guy trailing. Bryce turns the corner. Foot race down the sideline. Got a couple of guys to beat, and he finally gets tripped up over there by Tyler Stamey, their DB back there, the junior, and he, again, was off to the races, and it was just a foot race down the sideline.
Yep, had an angle on him and took his legs out down there. Looks like about the 19-yard line or so.
That's about right.
Gain of 44. There ain't a thing wrong with that.
No, you'll take that all night long.
Absolutely.
And our Maroon Devils are knocking on the door again, as we say, inside the red zone at about the 18, 19-yard line with 3 minutes to play here in this first half. The Tigers here, coming into the stadium, as you mentioned, Tommy, and this is a great thing about high school sports. It looks like we're going to have a timeout, and we'll keep it right here. But that's one of the great things about high school sports. Rosman is struggling 1-6. They're taking on our Maroon Devils, who are 6-0. But you turn that corner, you see the high school, you just see the band out there. They're warming up. You hear the that band in the background. You hear people out here getting ready for a football game, and that's what makes Friday night special. Sometimes it's not about wins and losses. It's about a small community like Rosman and Bryson City and wherever else just coming together and going to a football game.
And it's our boys.
Yeah, it's our guys.
Boys. No matter what, whatever the score is, whatever your record is, it's still your boys. I mean, that's the thing I've always really loved about where I was fortunate enough to grow up, is that it's always meant something.
It does.
And I just I know it means something over here too.
It does. Yeah.
It means something over here. That's the thing about Smoky Mountain Conference football.
Right.
Is that these communities are built around that these are our kids, and we're going to follow them, we're going to support them, we're going to be behind them, and that's what it's all about.
It really is. It makes Friday night special. It's Friday night's about high school football. 2:53 to play here before halftime. 28-0. Our Maroon Devils this time split backs, 3 wide receivers against that 5-man front for the Tigers. Toss in the backfield, breaking a tackle, and now running into a bunch of orange jerseys over there. This time again for the Maroon Devils is going to be Carson Taylor, and again, he runs with a lot of power.
He does run with a lot of power. He's not the first guy. Doesn't get him a lot.
No, you're right.
If that first guy doesn't get you and you're able to get 6 feet, that's a big deal after that, and he finishes north and south. That's what it's about. His dad played ball with me in high school. He was a few years younger than me, but Tony was a good football player, running back for us.
Yes, indeed. And again, Carson, only a sophomore. End zone touchdown, Maroon Devils. It's in there. This time Connor got one as they found him kind of running a slant toward the inside in the end zone, and Connor comes down with this one for 6.
One of my favorite new wrinkles. Being a secondary coach, I can see, I'm like, all right, free safety's probably going to have pitch. And he's in a bind, folks. He can't be everywhere he's got to be on that. He just can't.
Can't cover 2 or 3 guys,
no,
can you?
That's Maroon Devil version of RPO. Even though it's not. He's reading that, but we're going to make you wrong with what you're doing with that.
Outstanding throw and catch. Damian Lossie to Connor Hyatt. Gavin Lanning tags on the extra point, and with 2:09 to play, it's 35-0 here from Rosman High School. We're going to take one more timeout here before halftime, and we'll be back. So stay with us here on the Maroon Devils Network. Fans, welcome back. Gary Ayers along with Coach Tommy Deals with us on a Friday night as we kick it back. Aiden Pond kicks it to the right corner, taking it about the 13-yard line, back out to the 25, out across the 30. And again, we've said it time after time after time, they're really consistent getting that ball out of the end zone back there.
Absolutely. They ran that one up at about 36. Now, we're not getting our kicks quite as deep as we're used to getting them. I mean, he's hitting it down to about the 10 or 12-yard line, which makes a difference, because the coverage still takes just as long, but we're getting down there, and we're tackling them, but we're not before they get to the 30 or better.
Yeah, they're getting some yards.
Yeah.
Now let's see if we can shut them down again. Our Maroon Devils have been very, very stingy on defense here tonight with a couple of minutes to play before halftime. And again, right now we're looking at that wolf front again. 3 men up there. They pitch it out, and there's a loose football in the backfield, and it's still loose.
It's bouncing around.
Wow, we got people all around the football, but who comes up with it? I think Rosman will hang on to the ball.
They got back on it.
Man. That was a grease pig, wasn't it?
It was a grease pig there for a minute. I got scoop and score. Somebody pick that thing up. I like defensive scores. I mean, that's one of those things that some of those defensive guys, I'd like for one of them big uglies to pick that up and went rumbling, bumbling, stumbling, so I could have done my Chris Berman imitation right there.
Well, they almost did. Oh man! Hey! Well, your guys back on as they have the NFL back with Chris Berman and his sidekick. So he's back in action.
I love listening to him. He's crazy.
He's one of a kind. 1:18 to play here before halftime. Clock running. Quarterback under center. I formation behind him with 3 wide here, but they're running out of time and
delay of game.
Yeah, there's the delay of game signal. That's the one that got us on that last series on that 5-yard penalty. Was delay of game.
Yeah, because we ran with the ball a little bit. He called a delay game. Okay.
So that's the one we couldn't figure out. Now we know.
Now, yeah. I was like, I guess I've never seen it in that context. It threw me off.
Me neither. I've never seen it like that.
No.
But, of course, our people on the radio are saying, like what?
Yeah,
they can't see my hand signals on the radio.
Well, they're probably glad they don't see me. As I said a while ago, I got a face for radio.
They swing it out to the left side. Short pass and short gain out to about the 22, 23-yard line here. Under a minute to play. Time for 1 or 2 more plays here. Rosman doesn't look like they're in any hurry to line up and go, but they're going to have to run one more play here before halftime, Coach. And then we'll go to the locker room and both teams can see what they want to adjust before they come back out in the second half.
Yeah, they're going to have to get them down to about 12 seconds left on the clock right here before they have to snap it. And at 3rd and 21, I mean, 5 more yards to deck chair off a Titanic.
Yes.
I mean, it's it ain't going to save you and it ain't going to kill you.
Right.
They took a timeout with 2 on the clock.
Yes, so they're going to call a timeout, 15 seconds on the game clock. And don't forget, fans, our Lady Devils close out the regular season this coming week. Tuesday, they're going to be at home against Robbinsville, which will be live on the Maroon Devils Network with Toby Burrell, and then finish the regular season at Rosman next Thursday. Smoky Mountain Conference tournament play will begin a week from tomorrow on Saturday. And, of course, that's volleyball. Again, Tuesday at home against Robbinsville, live on the Maroon Devils Network, then the regular season at Rosman right here where we are tonight. On Thursday, tournament play on Saturday. Soccer has a big home match on Wednesday as we host Highlands. Start time is 6 o'clock for that one. You can catch that contest here on the Maroon Devils Network. Again, that is on Wednesday. Cross Country will run the NC Runners Elite Invitation at Beeson Park. On Wednesday, they will be at Cherokee for a preview of the Smoky Mountain Conference Championship course prior to the championships the following week. And one more plug, if I may. The Maroon Devil Band competed at AC Reynolds last week, bringing home second overall in their size class. And I tell you, that band is just, they're bringing home the hardware.
Yeah.
Here we go as Rosman runs, and we got a penalty flag. They're going to try this one again.
Over here. False start. And Karen Williams does a heck of a good job. I've called her Haywood her whole life. I was doing my student teaching over at Tuscola longer ago than I care to mention. And there was a little girl sitting in the back left corner of that classroom, and it was Karen Williams.
Karen Williams.
Yeah, so we go way back since Coach Stamey's class, and more years ago than I care to mention, and I wouldn't tell on her for her age for nothing.
And I know the Coach Stamey you're talking about. Yeah, that has been a year or two, or a day or two.
Yeah, Coach Stamey was a heck of a good man.
He was.
And a heck of a good teacher. The good man, good teacher.
Yeah, he knew his stuff.
Absolutely.
He was really dedicated. And Rosman comes out running the ball right up the A gap. And not a bad gain as they carry out across the 22. And that's going to be the final play, though, before halftime as the Tigers head to one end of the field. Our Maroon Devils head to the other end of the field. And we have a 35-0 halftime score here from Rosman High School. Fans, stay tuned. We're going to take a 2-minute network timeout. Stay with us. We'll be back in 2 minutes right here on the Maroon Devils Network. Fans, welcome back to Rosman High School as the Rosman High School marching band with their black and orange getting ready to entertain here at halftime. And, Coach, as you can look out there, you can see it kind of looks like a little Halloween flavor, if you will. But, hey, when your school colors are orange and black, it's kind of like Halloween all year, you know?
Tell you what, you got your Oktoberfest stuff going on out there, don't you?
You really do. And looking at some of the stats here at halftime, our Maroon Devils are playing really good football. Right now, 25 plays, 277 yards. And as you can do the math, and I'm no mathematician, that's over 10 yards a play. That's not bad.
That's what you want.
And doing a good job.
You can win like that.
Defensively, even better. Rosman, 19 plays. Yes, minus 4 yards.
Well, that right there is if we can sustain that type of a differential through the rest of the year, I think things will be great outcome for us.
Oh, no doubt. They've run it 14 times, minus 3 yards. Passing, 1 out of 5 for a minus 1 with 1 pick on the night. Our Maroon Devils, we've only passed it 3 times. We hit 1, but it was for a touchdown for 16 yards. On the ground, 22 carries, 261 yards. First downs, 10-1 here so far in the ball game. So the Maroon Devils individually, now looking at some of our stats, Bryce Swain, huge night tonight. 9 carries, 94 yards, averaging over 10 yards a pop and a couple of touchdowns. His long tonight was 44. Damian Lossy, 4 carries, 68 yards, and that's averaging 17 yards a carry, and he had 1 for 35. So, and Coach, it almost gets better. Ian Brooks, 5 carries, 83 yards. That's 16.5 yards a carry. His long was 38 yards and a touchdown. Carson Taylor, 4 carries, 16 yards. So everywhere you look, outstanding work.
And that all starts up front with them big uglies. If you've got holes to run through, I mean, there's some of them out there. Even an old slow fat guy like me might even be able to get a few. Running behind some of those big hogs we've got right now, the way they're coming off the ball, they've done a great job. It makes running backs look good, and it gets their name in the paper. And when you're a big ugly up there, you have to get that's where you get your gratification, is seeing those big numbers from your running back.
And I think our line play has been outstanding this season. And talking about that, our line is going to be tested next Friday night as we get ready for the Murphy Bulldogs, as each team has won on their home field for the last 6 years. Our Maroon Devils, the last to win on the road in the series with a 21-7 win at Murphy back in 2012. But in this decade, our Maroon Devils are 5-4 against Murphy. And we all know Murphy came to our place a couple of years ago. They were a pretty big favorite in that game. And David Gentry and the Dogs know who left with a loss.
Yes, they do, and I'm sure that one smarts a little bit. And they'll get reminded a few times this week of what can happen coming into Bryson. But now, in a rivalry like that, home and away is a huge factor, but it's not if we don't get people to come in there and cheer for our kids. We got to get out there, got to get people in the stands, got to get our fan base energized. They got to come in there and make it a home field advantage, because this is a big game, folks.
Oh, it's huge. It is huge. And as we mentioned, Murphy's going to be pumping this up all week to their kids. If David Gentry wins tonight and they're on a way to a win, they're leading Hayesville 28-0. Okay, with a win tonight, Gentry will tie the all-time win record in the state of North Carolina for most wins in a career. That means next Friday, if he comes in and they beat our Maroon Devils, David Gentry will have the all-time win record in the state of North Carolina with 413 wins. And I don't need to say it very loud. We want to send him back home with only 412 wins, and he can get win number 413 against somebody else.
That's right. I don't care where he gets it, but I just don't want him to get it at our place.
That's it.
There's a lot of different things to be said about that. A rivalry like ours, records go out the window. Sometimes we've played them whenever we weren't, people said on paper we weren't good enough to beat them, and we've done it.
Yes.
And there's been times that I felt like we should have beat them to death, and we didn't, So it's and times that, records don't matter as much. And right now they're going to come out there next week. They're going to be foaming at the mouth, and we're going to be the same way. Because everybody knows what's on the line for this one. Playoff implications. The record is secondary to all that, because at the end of the day, we got to win that football game.
Hey, that's the bottom line. Fans, stay tuned. We're going to send it back to the studio and our friends at WBHN at 94.1 FM and 1590 AM. And then we're going to come back just before we kick it off for the second half here from Rosman High School. Fans, stay with us. We've got a lot more football, so we'll be back in just a few here on the Maroon Devils Network. Fans, welcome back. Getting ready for the second half here from Silverstein Memorial Stadium at Rosman High School over here in Transylvania County on a beautiful Friday night. I know it's actually a little cool, guys, but as we've had temperatures in the 80s every Friday night, this feels wonderful.
This is finally fall weather a little bit. And this is early fall weather late in the fall, really, for football season standards.
It really is, as we see Coach Dan Essenberg with his Rosman Tigers out there. Coach Essenberg trying to get these Tigers on track. And as we mentioned, Tom, when you only have 4 seniors, it makes it really, really tough. It's the teams that really have really solid seasons, most of the time, I know there's always an exception, they have a lot of seniors, and those seniors provide a lot of leadership. So obviously, he's looking down the road. You got 8 juniors coming up, 10 sophomores. So he's got some good kids coming back next year to build on.
Absolutely, and Coach Essenberg knows what he's doing.
He does.
This isn't his first rodeo.
Nope.
He's been coaching since a long time.
Yeah,
I don't know when he started his career, but he had a stop here and was very successful with the Rosman Tigers in the 80s and 90s, and then he went on to coach at Brevard for a while. Yep. And was very successful with them. A few years ago, I guess it was around 2002 or so, he was still at Brevard. And when we leave the playoffs early, one thing we've always done is we go out and watch other people coach and what they're doing and try to figure out what we can steal, as far as we'll take, if they're doing something cool that we need to be doing that's going to help us be successful, we tried to borrow that. And I went to Coach Essenberg, said, yeah, come on over and see what we're doing. There's no secrets to us. And I went over and I enjoyed it. He was a great host.
And talking about some scores elsewhere in the Smoky Mountain Conference, Murphy all over Hayesville, 35-7. As again, Coach David Gentry is going to tie that wins record in high school football in North Carolina tonight. Andrews right now leading Cherokee 28-10 in that ball game. At last check, Tuscola was leading Asheville over in that contest, as both teams are trying to turn their season around. Right now, it's a 20-14 ball game, so a close one going on there. Also, Smoky Mountain and Pisgah, they have a real big conference game, and that's a Mountain Conference over there. And right now, it's a 6-6 tie. So, Coach, a lot of folks thought the winner of that game has the upper hand in the conference championship race, and I think they're probably right.
Yeah, barring something unforeseen, this is the conference championship, and what is it, the Mountain Six? I think
Mountain Six.
It's what it
yes.
is now. And the Mountain Six is probably getting decided tonight, and that tells you a little something, though. I think Robbinsville beat Smoky Mountain week 1, and week
yes.
2 we beat Smoky Mountain, and they're playing, and everybody knows this is kind of for the marbles over there in their little league. And, they're a good football team, folks.
They both are really good. If you don't, Pisgah's good, but their only loss was to a very good Murphy team early in the season. So, they played some good teams.
Yes, they have played some good teams, but both of them do. I mean, they don't shy away from competition. That's Smoky Mountain is one that plays a lot of people in the Smoky Mountain Conference, and just like Franklin does. And I think that it's something that's helped us fill our schedules, because believe it or not, folks, that's one thing that is not easy to do, is to fill your schedule when you're the Swain County Maroon Devils.
Oh, no question. And you talk to high school coaches from any conference, basically from Asheville West, and the only conference that doesn't have a big problem is that WMAC, the Western Mountain Athletic Conference, because they play so many conference games. They only have 1 or 2 non-conference games they can play, but every high school coach has trouble getting games.
Well, and they don't want to play us, and
right.
Because if they win, they're supposed to, and if they get beat, they look like they don't have a good idea of what's going on.
And
you know what I mean? And that's unfortunate. They look at it like that. Because, we've played Reynolds over the years. We've played Tuscola over the years. And
Pisgah.
And Pisgah.
Yeah.
For a long time. And that's what it's all about, is getting out there and playing the best you can, because we felt like if we did that, we'd be battle-tested early and give us an opportunity to be successful in playoffs.
Oh, no question. You get battle-tested early, and with our non-conference schedule, we have really, I think, had a tremendous year, as right now to open up this third quarter, the Rosman Tigers kick it out of bounds, and that's going to give our Maroon Devils outstanding field position up near midfield. The ball is going to be placed at the 48-yard line here, Coach, and I tell you, you don't get much better field position than that to start the half.
No, there's nothing. That bodes well. But they came out with tried an onside kick, and what do they got to lose? Play aggressive. Ain't anything wrong with that. That's what they ought to be doing, really.
That's it. They this time, our Maroon Devils come out running the football to the left side. And, again, it's going to be Mr. Taylor opening up in the backfield here. And we're talking about, we say Mr., but this is Carson. Carson, of course, our sophomore, and his brother Colby, the senior. And I'm sure we'll see him before the game is over. And I think we're going to see probably a lot of new faces before the game is over.
Yes, absolutely. We will see some of those kids that don't ordinarily get an opportunity to play, to get in there and get a chance to play some football. And, that's a blessing.
It is.
But I'll tell you what, it's tough on coaches.
Yes, it is. Trying to get the guys heading in the right direction, in the right spot. Here comes the swing pass out to the right side. Good catch out there on the flat and a good run after the catch over there. That looks like Gage Jones, and a good catch up near the first down inside the 45-yard line of Rosman.
Gage is a sophomore, getting out there and making some plays, running around. That bodes well for us in the future also. That's, we got some receivers coming back. Him and the Grunwald kid are both good athletes. We're going to see good things out of them as time goes on.
Oh, no question. We've got a lot of good skill people coming back. Basically, our entire backfield for the most part. We got a couple of guys like Ian Brooks, of course, is a senior, but a lot of our skill people are coming back next year. Handoff left side, Bryce Swain into the secondary, still running hard. First down to the 30-yard line. And there's one of those. Again, Bryce Swain will be back. Damian Lossey will be back. As you mentioned, Coach, Donovan Groenwald is coming back. We got so many kids in the backfield who are going to be back, like Carson Taylor. So that bodes well.
It does bode well. Our offensive line, we lose a bunch of those kids, but there's some kids standing over there that can play some pretty good football standing over there watching right now too, and they're going to get an opportunity here in a little while if everything continues the way it is.
That's it. Right now, Damian Lossey under center. He's going to turn and hand off. Here's Carson Taylor running to the right side. And, again, good, strong run. But talking about our all-time rushing leaders, Bryce Swain now on the night with 109 yards, has now passed Blake Wright for 13th. And he's right behind Heath Hyatt for 12th place on the all-time rushing list. So every Friday night, old Bryce, he keeps climbing that ladder.
He sure does. And one of the things that I've noticed through the course of this year is that things that tackled him last year, things that tackled him the year before, aren't tackling him. Arms and things like that, it's not happening that way. He's been able to finish runs. He's gotten a lot stronger. And we mishandled one, but that's okay.
Yep, got to mix up in the backfield. We lost a couple. That's going to push us back. But you're right, and that's what time in the weight room will do for you when you start talking about breaking tackles as opposed to not doing so a year or two ago.
That's exactly right. Well, there's a big difference between being 170 pounds at his height and being 140 pounds at his height.
Yes.
It's a big difference,
Huge.
30 pounds spread out over 5'6".
It's huge.
Big difference.
It really is, and it's a strong.
It's a good 30.
Yes.
There ain't an ounce of fat on that.
Third down now. This time the Maroon Devils coming straight ahead, but not a whole lot of running room. Pretty good penetration this time by the Rosman Tigers as we're looking at fourth down at about 4 or 5 now after that run right up the A gap down inside the 25-yard line.
And we gained 3 or 4 yards right there. We just got behind the sticks a little bit with that mishandled snap on the last one and the mishandled exchange, I should say, and we'll see what happens. Right here we're going to line back up and at this spot on the field, what are you going to do?
That's right. You don't punt.
You don't punt.
Nope.
So you're going to line up and see what have I got in the playbook. It's good for 4th and 5.
That's it. 4-down territory, 4th down now. And that's about what we need. Split backs, and here comes the run to the left side. Here comes Bryce Swain, and he has the first down. And this is a guy, if you get him out on that edge, he can do a lot of things.
Yeah, I didn't like the way he hit the ground right there. Something a little bit funky about that.
So we hope he's okay as he's going to check out of the lineup now, and we hope he's going to be okay as he runs to the sideline.
Yeah, they're just checking him out a little bit right there. Give him a second. He got hit kind of from side down low, and that's rough, guys. People that are shooting at your legs and things like that as you're running back, they take a beating.
They do.
They take a beating.
Here we go, first down and 10. Just under 8 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Maroon Devils up 35-zip. And one wide receiver out to the right side. Here comes Taylor running to the right side. A lot of running room. And Taylor could be in the end zone. Is he in?
He is.
Yes. Touchdown, Maroon Devils.
Absolutely. Great run. I mean, the edge was sealed. Our kids did a good job. He finished the run. That's the way you're supposed to do it.
Outstanding job again coming into the game tonight. Carson Taylor, a sophomore, had over 200 yards rushing on 26 carries and 6 touchdowns to go along with that. And so far tonight here, Carson already has 39 yards on 7 carries and a touchdown to go with it as we line up for the PAT. And so far tonight, the Maroon Devils 29 carries, 309 yards on the ground.
That'll do it.
Now for the PAT again coming on is this time it's going to be Aiden Pond to kick, and he kicked it over the building back there. I mean, we're not used to seeing him on extra points, but he kicked it long and deep.
He did. He took about one step and punched that thing over the house there.
So now 42-0 Maroon Devils on top with 7:39 to play. We're going to take a 1-minute break, and we'll be back as we expect a running clock coming up probably soon here from Rosman High School, so stations down the line. We probably won't have a whole lot of breaks, but going to take a 1-minute timeout here on the Maroon Devils Network. Back live on the Maroon Devils Network. Another good return. This time Carson Lottie bringing it back for the Rosman Tigers out near the 40-yard line, Coach. They've been good all night, but that's their best return.
It is. We had some kids that we did some substitution out there on special teams, and we had a different kicker that time. Gavin Lanning kicked it down to about the 10. He put his foot into it. I mean, it was a good-looking kick. I mean, he struck the ball well, and nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, we've got we had Aiden kicking the PAT, and then Gavin came on to kick off, so kind of switching roles, and that's another good learning experience for those guys. You never know when one of those guys is going to pull a groin or a hamstring.
Absolutely, and you can't have more than too many kickers. It's
that's
like
it.
Too many running backs. And because a kicker can beat you faster than about anybody else, man alive. That's defensive pursuit right there for you.
Oh, Thomas Collins got the pitch in the backfield, but he didn't have time to even look up because he was hammered coming in. It's going to be Jake Langston and Lucas Brown and a bunch of guys.
Yeah, that was
wow.
That was one of those things. Your pursuit got you. I mean, they played their alleys, they came downhill, and they went to go get that football, just like you coach them to Monday through Thursday.
Outstanding job. Nick Millsap's in there, Chase Hughes. You know, we don't talk about a lot of these guys as much as we probably could, but we really have some really good people on the defensive side of the ball.
And we got people that are doing things they've never been asked to do, and they're doing a heck of a job with it. Whoa,
down the middle, passes intercepted.
Tipped
and picked, and coming back with it is going to be Gage Jones as it hit the receiver's hands for Rosman, but Gage was right there on the spot, Coach, and it got him right in the hands.
Absolutely. And that's just running around being a football player making a play. And we got us a little piece of laundry down there on the field, too. I don't know what it's going to be for. I wonder what we done.
Probably a hold or a block in the back on the return, I'm guessing, but let's see. There is a yellow hanky on the field with 5 minutes and counting, and it looks like we're going to see a running clock from here on out as now the officials will move the football back to the 39-yard line.
And this is where the coaches are earning their money. We're getting ready to see probably a little bit of a different offensive unit and a little bit of, sprinkling in some substitutions. Some kids that hadn't had an opportunity to play a whole bunch of snaps are getting ready to come out there and get to do it.
Coach, this is a wholesale new offense.
It surely is. I see that.
There is not one starter out there.
Not one. Not one starter. We got Hey, Coach Blankenship.
Yep.
The GOATs under center right here. What about it?
There we go. Cameron Blankenship under center is going to be the quarterback. He turns and hands off. And here's a guy who's played a lot, obviously. We've talked about Carson Taylor. Carson in there still running the football hard. But look at it. Some of the linemen in there, we'll try to check the numbers. We got Michael Winchester in there. We've got Sam Bernheisel in there. Among a couple of guys, we got Noah Romero in there. So a whole new line and basically a whole new backfield. And splitting wide right is going to be Robert Green. We'll try to check these numbers and names as we can. Yeah, Carter Kirkland over here left, our sophomore wide receiver. Split back, so we got people moving, and no flag is thrown. They just let them play through it. And we got people in the backfield all over our quarterback, Cameron Blankenship. He had, we got one of the officials down as well. He slipped. 55
come off and blocked one of their kids all the way through the back judge.
Oh, man. And, boy, he got up slowly.
Yeah, he did. That hurt.
Hey, that's he looks like he's okay, but you got to believe that didn't feel good at all, did it?
No, sir, it did not. He got rolled up right there pretty good.
Wow, and he gets his cap back on, and I think he's going to stay in the game, so that says a lot. He's not a youngster like those kids out there playing football, as we see some gray hair under his cap back there. Third down there, but he's looks like okay. This time the Rosman Devils stay on the ground. And another good run. I tell you, Taylor having a very good night tonight, Coach, against these Rosman Tigers.
That was the bend back play, and it's tough. It's another one to catch linebackers flying, and when it hits, it hits. Just like that. It's a little, what is it? They used to call it the old quick opener.
That's it. Yeah, the quick hitter. Yeah. And it was.
Yes, it was. And he does a good job of hitting those plays. Both those Taylor boys know where the dive lanes are.
So now, Cameron under center again, 2.5 minutes to play, third quarter. As he's going to hand off to the left side now, and there's going to be Colby Taylor, Carson's older brother, Colby the senior, gets his first carry of the ball game, and again he's a strong runner as well.
Absolutely, good running back, and you know our offensive line right now is coming off and doing a good job too. I tell you, there's nothing wrong with what we're doing right now. They're coming off the ball and they're pushing the defensive line back and on that line of scrimmage, and that's exactly what you want them to do. Give those running backs a chance and keep your quarterback clean. That's what you're asking for. And
I tell you, our offensive line is so good, Coach. These guys that are playing now really don't get a whole lot of playing time because the regular starters are just so good.
And there's a lot of these guys that are playing right here right now that could play for a lot of people that we play.
Oh, you better believe it. And these linemen in there right now, let me just read them off quickly. Noah Romero, Michael Winchester, Elias Watkins, Connor Driver, and Sam Bernheisel. That's your starting tackle to tackle. And this time, again, it's going to be Taylor running to the left side. And again, we've got to tell you, this time it's Colby Taylor, as both guys have lined up in the backfield. We've got the kind of the all-Taylor backfield.
The Taylor brothers. The Taylor brothers with a little number 9 up there in front of them.
That's it. And also checking in and out is going to be Robert Green as he brings a couple of plays in and out from the sideline. Also helping him out over there doing that is Carter Kirkland, a sophomore, number 84. He splits wide left, and this time Robert goes to the other side. Split backs, tossing it right side. Here comes Taylor. He's going to score easily.
Oh, they're going to call it a blocking back, and it wasn't a bit more of that than nothing.
Yep, penalty flag's going to bring it back.
And that's one of those 42-0 blocking the backs.
Oh, boy. Carson Taylor was in the end zone. I'm not sure anybody got a hand on him, but you're right. And that might be, is that his first or second touchdown brought back by a penalty?
Yeah, I think second.
We've had a couple brought back by penalties. I think Bryce Swain might have had one earlier with that he busted that came all the way back. But a couple of hankies on the ground. That's going to be the final play maybe of this third quarter with a 42-0 lead.
We're going to line up and run one, looks like. Attaboy, Cameron. Get him up there and run a football play.
There we go. Cameron under center. Taylor brothers right behind him.
We're going to do it again this other way. We'll run quick pitch this way this time.
Here's Carson. This time he's wrapped up. He has 3 guys, and he carries down inside the 9-yard line. That is the final play, quarter number 3.
But a gain of 7.
That's it.
You know.
Big gain.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And they go to the sideline, and we'll keep it right here. And, again, we want to remind everybody next Friday, hey, it's a huge showdown against the Murphy Bulldogs. They're coming into town, and Toby Burrell had a good stat here that I really like. We are 5-4 against Murphy in this decade, each team having won on their home field for the last 6 years. We were the last to win on the road in the series with a 21-7 win at Murphy back in 2012. And last time Murphy came to town, we whipped them, and we want to do it again next Friday because there's going to be so much attention on that game. Not only is it a huge game in Smoky Mountain Conference standings, but again, David Gentry has a chance, if they were to come in and win, to be the all-time winningest high school coach in the state of North Carolina with 413 wins. And Tommy Dills, that's a big record. I mean, he's going to get the record. We just don't want him to get it next week.
Yeah, I don't care when he gets it. I mean, Coach Gentry's had a heck of a good career.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
a heck of a good football coach. He's done it for a long time at a very, very, very high level.
Yep.
But I don't want him to get it next week. He can have it some other time, some other place. I don't want to sound stingy, but just somewhere else, Coach. If that's all. Well, even if it's not all right, do it somewhere else anyway.
That's it. He'll have plenty of opportunities with the rest of the schedule coming up. We still have a lot of football. We got Murphy next week. Go to Robbinsville the week after that. Then we have the Asheville Gladiators at home. Then actually we go to Hayesville November 8th before playoff time, November 15th. So there's still a lot of football.
Absolutely, a lot of football in the next 2 weeks.
Ooh,
there's a lot of cards on the table in the next 2 weeks. You know, I mean, it's just.
Yep, you better believe it. And you better have an ace up your sleeve, especially right now in the 3-team race. That is Swain, Murphy, and Robbinsville. And it's so interesting in the 1A high school football poll. We know Tarborough's 1, East Surrey's 2. Got Mitchell number 4. They're a tough football team. But here we go. Robbinsville 5, Murphy 6, Swain County number 7.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen that.
I don't know that I've ever seen that either, but I don't care. You know, some people are real big on rankings. The only ones that matter are the lastings.
That's it.
That's it. There's going to the state championship will have something to be said about it in the big and the little 1A out of the Smoky Mountain Conference. I just believe that this year.
I think
we'll
so.
See.
Here come Maroon Devils this time. We tried to hand it off to Taylor, and Cameron Blankenship tries to run it, but he can't get away from all that orange in the backfield. Coming in there was big Caden Slonecker, and he's 6'1", 200-pounder, and knocked him down there. And looks like Rosman's going to take over now, 1st down and 10 with 11 minutes to play here, as they stopped us on 4th down and changed the possession.
You know what? Our kids did a good job right there. We ended up behind the sticks after that penalty, after we'd punched one in. For limited snaps together, you know, that ain't bad. You know, they're playing hard, and I'm glad they're getting the opportunity to get out there and run around and play some.
And this is where you learn.
It may not happen.
You're right. Yeah, the next couple of weeks, it's Katie Barr at the door. Every play is going to be big. And, boy, I tell you what, there was some good penetration there on defense.
Yes, sir. Our second defensive front's in there, and they're running around making plays.
That was Noah Romero, coach, and a big 55 got on the backfield. He's 6'1", 235 with a good play.
I think he's a junior, isn't he, too, Coach?
He's a junior. He sure is.
I tell you, I went into a class the other day. In my present role, I'm not allowed to coach anymore, but I get to go watch kids in the hallway. And he's a good-looking young'un on the hoof. Big kid.
He is a good-sized young man. And it looks like he got a good motor, too.
Yeah.
As he's in the middle in there. Oh, loose football on the floor, and it's going to be picked up by the Maroon Devils. We got 2 Maroon Devils on the football.
And it's a good thing because we were misaligned in the front right there. We're going to have to get lined up in the right spots. But that's one of the things about putting young kids in, too. You know, I mean, they got to learn where the alignments are and what they're doing as we move forward. And we got by with one.
Hey, that was a good coverage there by Tripp Peterson, one of our juniors. Tripp coming in there, number 41, gets on the football now with 9:23 to play, and our Maroon Devils get it right back inside the red zone. So, again, that's what that good defense can do for you.
Absolutely. You get to that football, good things happen for you. Now let's see the old dump pass right here. See what happens if that free safety's out of the middle of the field again.
So we got Carter Kirkland wide left, coming wide right. It's going to be Robert Green again. Out of the I formation this time. Pitch back comes to the deep man of the backfield. That's Zach Stepp, but boy, he can't get away, Coach. They have too many orange jerseys over there, and Zach on his first carry tonight, the 6'1" sophomore, he had nowhere to go.
No, nowhere to go. And Zach Stepp's good. Guys, Zach Stepp's going to be a good football player for us.
He's tall, 6'1",
he's
sophomore.
A tall kid. He runs around well. He'll strike. He's got a lot of things going for him. He's going to be a good football player for us.
And we have a good sophomore class. Talking about the way our class breaks down, of course, we have a great bunch of seniors, and I really think that's why a lot of the success this year is happening. 14 seniors. We have 8 juniors, but we have 14 sophomore players coming back, so that bodes well.
It does bode well. And the juniors that we have are good juniors.
They're good.
They're there's a lot of those people that junior class, particularly in the skill positions, that are going to be very important for us. And some of those sophomore linemen, they've got a year to mature, and we got some junior linemen that are going to be coming back also. I heard Michael Winchester's name mentioned there a minute ago, and I'm pretty sure he's a junior this year.
Yes.
And
yes.
Michael's a good-looking kid, a big kid. It's just he's behind kids that are good-looking, big kids also, And there's nothing wrong with waiting your turn.
That's it. And you learn from those guys in front of you.
Absolutely.
And they can make you better. Trip Peterson involved in that last play. Now our Maroon Devils with 7:35 left to play in the backfield. We got a couple some more new folks back there. This time it's going to be Andrew Chavez. And, boy, Andrew, again, those orange jerseys, this time leading the charge in there is Caden Slonecker, and they're all over him.
Yeah, and, I hate that. Chavez, he gets in there, and he's the running back that mocks up the other team all week, and he gets to run 3 days a week against one of the best defenses in West North Carolina. So, it tells you the type of kid that he is to come back out here and do it week in, week out. And I'd like to see him get a chance to get one in the end zone right here. That'd be fantastic.
Oh, no question about it. He is when those guys work hard all week, you want to see good things happen to them. And now, Blankenship under center. We've got in the backfield right now, we've got Zach Stepp and Chris Singley, number 31. And he is a freshman, Coach. He's the only freshman on the varsity team.
Yeah, and I'm to be honest with you, I'm just not familiar with him. I don't know a whole lot about him.
He's the only guy in that freshman class. Chris Singley, 5'9", 180-pounder. He has good size.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we're going to have to back up here, Coach. We got to.
Well, we got a backup light out right now.
Yep. We're those yellow hankies are. They sting a little bit, but
they do. But we've got the football. And
yeah.
The clock's running, and our young kids are getting a chance to get out there and do their thing. And here's the rough part for these young kids. Oh, he's running for his life. Uh-oh.
Cameron Blankenship trying to get loose. Cuts to the right side, knocked down at the 28-yard line. As coming up over there on the tackle is going to be Andrew Stamey. Speaking of that Stamey name.
Yeah, and those kids don't get a lot of snaps together.
They don't.
They don't get a lot of snaps together, and they're doing the best they can, and everything's working out. It's working about like really what you should expect. And the other thing is, we don't get. What are they going to do when they get in the ball game? They're going to give dive left, dive right, maybe pitch it here somewhere along.
Yeah,
but
keep
that's
it simple.
Very simple. And the other part about that is they might be able to do more, but you don't do that when you're up 42-0.
That's it. And this time Rosman comes out and pitches it to the right side. That's going to be Thomas Collins, and he's trying to turn the corner and does, and finally getting an arm tackle over there. We got him over there on the sideline right in front of the Maroon Devil bench, and that was a good arm tackle by Zach Stepp, number 4 over there with a good stop.
Guys, it's going to be okay. This is. I remember when I was a kid, when I was young and playing ball, nobody started as a sophomore.
Yeah, it's rare.
Nobody started as a sophomore.
It's rare.
And you had to pay your dues. You got beat up at practice, and you hopefully lived through it. And
it made you tougher.
It made you tougher or killed you.
That's it. Made you better.
Yeah. Seniors might. Oh, go, get him in the ground.
Thomas
good
Collins.
Job.
Again, another good tackle over here by Robert Green. Now, Robert's one of those seniors. He plays in and out a lot, number 7. Doing a good job, and he always seems to be able to find the ball.
Yeah, he's doing a good – and he's a senior that's out there with these guys, but they've got to have somebody out there, too, talking to them, helping them get where they're supposed to get and doing those things, because secondary play for us, there's a lot of adjusting goes on back there.
So you got to have your head in the game. Some of those guys back there right now are John Parton. We got Zach Stepp back there calling some of the defense. Robert Green, basically kind of a 5-3-3 look on D right now, if you will. Rosman running hard again. Out to the 49-yard line is going to be Andrew Stamey again on the carry.
We got another hanky.
Yep, another flag down. Noah Romero coming up to help on the tackle along with Sam Bernheisel. So you got a lot of the same offensive linemen here, Coach, that are also playing on defense now.
Yeah, flipped over playing some defense.
Then you got Chris Singley in there, 31 again at a linebacker. And
really? We got a personal foul right there. I guess they called it a late
hit. A
little
bit of a late hit.
A flop. But you know what? Back to those playing hard penalties.
That's it.
When you got pups out there and they're running around, right now what we're worried about doing is seeing if they'll tree or not. And they're trying to get after the football, and that's about what we can. That's what we should be seeing.
That's it. And I like that analogy.
They're getting after it.
Got to be able to tree.
Yeah, they're getting after it. Oh,
right side.
Edge.
Here comes Lucas Brown on the carrot. Now, check that. I'm sorry. That's going to be Thomas Collins there, number 3, not our number 3, over there on the carry.
But, guys, that right there, we set the edge tough, and he got the corner, but we set the edge tough. Those kids are playing hard.
They are.
They're playing hard. I mean, yeah, we gave up some yards right there, but they're doing their job the best they can. They're flying around, and I just like watching these young kids play.
And this is on-the-job training.
Absolutely, because they're not going to be sophomores forever.
Nope. They got to step up. A lot of these kids are going to be stepping up next year. As you mentioned, we have a lot of our skill people back, but you look across our offensive line and defensive line, just about all those kids are graduating.
Yeah, and a whole lot in our linebackers and some of those people. I mean, we're losing a lot of defensive depth.
Oh, boy.
You know what I mean? But some of these kids are going to get, trial by fire right off. And some of the kids that we've had the luxury of being able to play both ways are not going to have that luxury any longer.
That's right.
You know what I mean? It's just because you get to, when you lose some of these folks, it gets to you got to have the best 11 football players on the field. And it doesn't matter if he's your quarterback or not. He's still got to play,
Here comes Rosman running again, straight ahead, and a good open field tackle down there this time, and it's going to be Trip Peterson. Trip, when he comes in, he is always around the football. Trip Peterson, 41, is a guy that we call a lot when we put in our new faces. He's a guy that gets it done.
He's a solid player.
Yeah.
He's going to get a lot of snaps next year. I wouldn't be surprised to see him if he doesn't start both ways.
I think he very well could start next year because, as we mentioned, and again, I know next year is next year, and coaches only look one game at a time as they should. But when you look at some of our really outstanding people up front, Thomas Allen, Jake Langston, Cody Long, Chase Hughes, Charlie Lambert, people like Colby Kirkland, obviously Big Nick Millsaps. That's the heart and soul of your offensive and defensive lines that are all seniors. Absolutely.
And there's enough of them that can spell each other on defense, and we can keep some fresh legs on both sides of the ball. That's a luxury.
It is.
That is a luxury. And we've not had to play Bryce both ways this year. We've not had to play and we've not had to play Damian on defense, And there's been years we absolutely had no choice.
That's it.
I mean, if I had anybody else to play at free safety, actually that's probably a bad analogy because me and Coach White have been arguing if I hadn't been able to play Michael Watson at free safety because I felt like he's better at that and he wasn't quarterback. But I'm a little biased as a defensive coach. But
he was a good player.
He was a heck of a football player for us. He went to college to play free safety, I mean, but those, it'd been nice. It'd have been a real luxury to be able to say, I got 2 of him, so I don't need him. But we didn't.
Yeah.
And we seldom do have 2 like that, to be honest with you.
This time they toss it to the left side, and
good
penetration by the defensive front. And again, coming in there this time on the tackle is going to be Sam Bernheisel. He's a big boy, 6'4", 225, a sophomore, and good tackle.
59.
And 59 is going to be Elias Watkins. Now, he's a senior. 59, 6'2", 175-pound senior. Elias getting some playing time, though.
Set the edge right there, turn that play back inside, and that's what it's about. It's the angles and everything makes a bunch of triangles. And if you force the cut back, a lot of times you're doing your job. You may not get the tackle, but you made the play.
That's it. You force the guy inside where somebody will make the tackle.
That's exactly right.
and doing a good job over there with just over a minute to play here in the ball game at Rosman High School. And again, we can't say enough how much we need our fans out next Friday night at Swain County Memorial Stadium as we host the Murphy Bulldogs. They're in the process of beating Hayesville tonight, and they're coming in undefeated in conference play as we are. We can't say how big that football game is next Friday night. And right now, the Swain first defense, 14 straight quarters without being scored on. Of course, this is not the Maroon Devil first defense as Rosman quarterback gets loose, and his he's so close to the goal line. They say he's in. I think he
they micro-spot him, or are they calling it a touchdown?
It's going to be short. They say the ground caused the fumble. The ball came loose, but they say the ground caused it. They're going to spot it. Looks like about inside the 1 yard line here.
Yeah, and they called their third and final timeout.
So they're going to use their final timeout. They want to get this football in the end zone. But again, the first D, 14 straight quarters. That's pretty good D.
That's pretty good D. Yeah. I want it to be 18 straight. And then if we can get to 22 straight, ain't nobody be happier than me.
I tell you what. Hey,
I ain't being selfish.
Hey, I'd pay for some of that action. Man, oh man, I'd love to see that.
Two shutouts right here. Yeah, boy, I'd take it.
We're going to be at Robbinsville in 2 weeks, and ticket price $7. A buck of that will be going to Swain and Graham County Schools in memory of Steve Claxton. That's coming up at the Robbinsville game, and we hope both teams are going to be playing for a conference championship, undefeated. And Rosman very close to the goal line. Did they get in? Yes, they did. Rosman on the scoreboard, 42-6 here late in the fourth quarter. And I'm sure those guys are glad to get on the scoreboard.
Absolutely. They're glad. And those kids, they practice and work hard every week. And they got in there and they stuck one in the end zone. I mean, I hate to see it, being a homer. I hate to see it, but at the same time,
those kids work hard, too.
Those kids work hard, too. Our kids are working hard out there, and that's just what happened this time,
That's it. And you know what? And that's sometimes how you learn more so than having success.
That's exactly right.
Is when you get pushed around a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, everybody, what is the old boxer's analogy? Everybody's got a plan till they've been hit.
That's it.
And now, some of those kids have been hit where they've not been expected to make plays yet. And now they get out there and get a chance to do it.
And, and you can practice, Coach, and I know as a coach, and I've talked with Coach White and Toby Burrell about this, practice is one thing. You do your reps, you practice this, but it's still different out here under the lights on Friday night. It's different.
It is absolutely different. It's like and to use another analogy from boxing, it's sparring partner syndrome. You get used to, I'm lining up against at the same time, and I know who's covering me, and it's the guy that I practice against 3 days a week.
Yeah.
And
you know what he's going to do.
Yeah, I know what he's going to do, and we're going to get in here, and every now and again it's going to be like, Lord have mercy. They get tired of beating on each other.
They do.
They don't ever get asked to find that next gear that playing against somebody in a different colored shirt gives you.
That's it, and it is different. It's that's the best I could say. It's just different if you've ever played any kind of sport. Being out here when it counts, when the scoreboard is on, the lights are on, they're going to try an onside kick, and we touched it, and they're going to get the football, and that's just the way it goes here with 45 seconds to play, and they'll have another shot at it on offense as we're getting ready for Murphy. I mean, that's what most of those folks over there on the sideline are thinking about right now is, number one, the ride home, and next Friday night against Murphy.
Yeah. Ooh. I'm going to be good.
So right now the Rosman Tigers going to line up. They're going to try it again. But the clock is running against them.
Got 21.2. And let's hang one up and see what happens. Pick that. Go get it. Go get it, kid.
Yeah, a lot of folks down there. We had more jerseys than they did, so the ball is going to be out of bounds as they throw it deep.
Try.
And that's going to be the final play of the ball game. And Coach Tommy Dills, I appreciate you joining me here on the broadcast here tonight. 42-7 is going to be our final score. And hey, now we can celebrate this one on the ride home. But when we unload that bus back at Swain County High School,
it's Murphy week right now.
It
begins right now. There's going to be people watching tape on Murphy on their laptops on the way home. I bet you anything you want to bet.
Oh, no question about it.
It happens today.
You said it.
Guys, I can't wait.
It's going to be fun next Friday. We're going to look at some final stats here with Toby Burrell. But again, 42-7 is the final stat that really counts on the scoreboard here from Rosman High School. But our Maroon Devils had a great night running the football on the ground. As we mentioned, Bryce Swain keeps climbing that all-time rushing chart as he's going to be moving up, I think, a lot before he's finally finished. Here tonight, he had 13 carries, 119 yards, a couple of touchdowns, one long of 44 yards, over 9 yards a carry. Damian Lossy, how about this, Coach? Only 4 carries, but 68 yards, 17-yard average. That ain't bad, is it?
No, we can live with that.
Also, Ian Brooks, 5 carries, 83 yards. He was almost at 17 yards a carry and a touchdown, had a long carry of 38 yards. Carson Taylor, 11 carries, 68 yards. Very solid night, over 6 yards a carry average and a touchdown. We had Colby Taylor, a couple of carries for 8 yards here tonight. Zach Stepp, Andrew Chavez, Cameron Blankenship all carried the football. Again, when you add it all up, we had 46 plays, 351 yards. Here's the stat that made the final score what it is. Rosman, 35 plays, a total of 57 yards.
And I would dare say that almost all of that was the last drive.
Yes, it was. Before that, I think we had looked at, maybe 4 or 5 yards all night. And our guys did what they had to do. They came in here. They established dominance at the line of scrimmage. That carried over, and everything worked out.
And it will. You get up there and you win the battle in the trenches, and everything tends to fall in place. We've got good kids up there. We stay healthy. We stay and we get after those kids next week, and their kids are going to play hard.
You better
Our
believe
kids are going to play hard. It's going to be a war. I'm excited. I can't wait to see it.
Hey, 1 week from tonight, Murphy at Swain County Memorial Stadium. Make your plans to join us. Until then, have a great night. We want to thank Emma Dingle. Shout out to Joe Holt tonight. He's up in New York City. We hope he's enjoying himself. He'll be back next Friday, I'm guessing. And we appreciate Toby Burrell with all the stats and so forth. And again, thanks to you, Coach Tommy Dills, for joining us here tonight. Next Friday, Murphy. Join us then here on the Maroon Devils Network. So long.